everybody, and welcome back to Welcome Grove Homestead. Today, I am nerding it out. We are ultrasounding our goats. I've already done some preliminary scans trying to refamiliarize myself with the equipment before trying to film it. So I know some of them already are confirmed pregnant via ultrasound as well as blood test. I also know counts on a couple of them, but for funsies, we're gonna film some. So the machine I use is a portable ScanX ultrasound machine. I did not go with a battery operated one just because I feel like it wasn't going to be that much bigger of a deal to just have something that plugs in. I have power at the barn. If we really need to move it somewhere else, we have a generator that we can hook it up to, so it's not a big deal. And it costs less, and you don't have the risk of an uncharged battery or a failing battery or anything like that. So we went with just a plug-in ScanX. So we're powering it on, and then we're going to bring in our first goat. I think I'm going to bring in Jane first, who is our most pregnant goat. We'll double check our dates on her. We did on an earlier scan see 3 babies, but as they get further along in their pregnancies, they can be a lot harder to tell how many babies are in there because they don't all fit on screen at once. You're looking at a 3D object or being on a 2D screen. So it gets challenging to do counts if they get too far along in their pregnancy. So Jane was bred October 3rd and 4th. She had a really long heat cycle, so she was bred both days, which means that she is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5 weeks pregnant. So we're getting pretty far along for being able to see things, but we're going to take a look and we'll see what we see. Here's our little goat. Okay. Alright, Miss Jane. Let's see. What do we see? Oh, there's a baby right there. Oh, there's a second baby. So on the right we see one baby. There you go. There's some good movement. On the left, let's see, there's another baby. You can see that pulsing right there in the middle. I'm holding her leg up so I can't point. You can see that pulsing is the umbilical cord. So we know we've got twins. There's the skull. Question is, do we have a third one? She usually has triplets. There's good movement. You see little ribs and a spine. Well, she's still a question mark. She's 2 or 3, because we definitely saw 2 today. But on an earlier scan, we did see 3. But isn't that cool, seeing those little babies? Very exciting. So Jane is about 61 days bred. We expect at least 2, possibly 3 babies out of her. I did see 3 on an earlier scan, or at least what looked like 3. So because she's so far along, I can't rule out the fact that she might have a third one in there that we just can't see because of our limited range of view. So Jane will be our first one due. Her due date is February 25th. So we're going to be starting kidding a little bit early next year, and we're okay with that. We are prepared. We're ready for it. All right, next up I'm going to get Jane's daughter Arwin up. She is pregnant with her 3rd set of babies, and we did not get a count on her the last time that I scanned her, so this is going to be our first time finding out how many she has. And she's actually not staying with us much longer. She's getting ready to go to her new home. They wanted her bred back before she left, so we bred her. We're going to confirm how many babies she has and get them a due date. She did short cycle, so we have 2 possible due dates. She cycled 5 or 6 days apart, so we're gonna have to just see what we see. Short cycling means that the doe had a regular heat cycle, but then she had another one much sooner than expected. So their usual heat cycle is about 21 days, but she short cycled in that she cycled and had another heat 5 or 6 days later. So it makes due dates a challenge, but it's also within a certain frame of time. This is Arwin, our little moon spotted doe. Fixing to see how many babies we got. All right, Arwin, let's see. What you carrying? All right. There's a baby right there moving. And a baby right next to it. And what I'm doing is I'm slowly moving my wand to give us basically more slices through her abdomen to see if there's more babies in there. One's moving really good. Now the reason I'm looking so hard for another baby is that she has had quadruplets and triplets. It looks like that could be a 3rd baby on the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to look for movement. Trying to see if I can make any obvious landmarks appear. Like a skull or legs. And she's one of our more recently bred does. Yeah, we got 2 babies that are definitely moving. And that 3rd one might be a baby. But it's not doing much moving. Now, it's possible that what we're seeing with Arwin is that she's got 2 live babies and possibly a 3rd one that just didn't make it. Or it could just be sleeping and not moving much. So, and it may just be completely, you know, a dunce, and it may not be a baby at all. I am still learning. I can see some things are obvious, some things are a little harder. So usually when I have things that it's like I'm not quite sure, I'll just err on the side of caution and just say, hey, look for 2 or 3 babies. Arwin is due March 16th. She's 6 weeks bred today. So basically we're right in the window of being able to count babies, because you want to wait until about 40 days bred to count how many babies they're having. So we're really happy. We've got at least 2 babies, which really, my opinion is you want at least twins. You don't necessarily want a ton of babies because they get smaller and smaller and smaller. But when you have more than 1 baby, the odds are that they're not going to be huge babies and they'll be fairly easy for mom to pass. Also, because we dam raise our kids, or we hybrid raise, because the kids are nursing on their mom, it really helps having more than 1 baby, because if you only have 1 baby, they're going to pick a favorite side and they may not evenly nurse the doe's udder, so you may end up with some lopsided udders. So at least twins is ideal. So for the sake of making things simple, I'm going to continue down the Jane line. Now this doe is Josephine, Jane's daughter from last year. She was a triplet. We're going to see how many babies she's got. I believe our last scan we saw 2, but we're going to go ahead and scan her again and we're going to see how many we see. All right, Joe, let's see what we got. Hello. Here's 1. Looks like a second one there up top. Oh yeah. That was good movement there. That's 2 for sure. We're just looking all over. to see if that's all we see. I know. She doesn't want to stand still. The active one. There we go. Okay. Oh, they're both really active. There's the bottom one. Alright, so I'm gonna say pretty confidently that it looks like 2 babies in there. So Joe's due date is gonna be March 4th. So we're gonna have some early March babies from her. 2 babies is a perfect number for our first freshener, so I'm really excited. And we're really excited to see what we get, because these are gonna be Susa's first babies, between her and Susan, who were bred very close to the same time. Susan did short cycle, Susan is the one that we're gonna scan next. And she short cycled like her mom. Her mom is Arwin. She was bred one day, was bred again 5 days later on the same day as Joe. So we're going to scan her and we're going to see how her babies look. If they look more developed than Joe's, or if they look at the same developmental stage as Joe's, then we know which breeding took place and we'll know when her due date is. Alright, so this is Susan. She's Arwin's daughter. She's out of her quadruplets that she had last year. Because she comes from such a fertile line that produces a lot of kids, we're going to definitely scan her really thoroughly and see how many kids we've got. Alright, Susan, let's see what we see. There's a baby. Second baby. That might be a third one down there. It's a little hard to see. There's one. And it's laying long ways. It's a back leg at the bottom of the sack there. So that's one baby. And as I keep moving across, see there's a movement of another. And then a third. So it looks like triplets for Susan. Alright, so it looks like triplets for Susan, and honestly to me they looked a little bit more developed than Josephine, so she may be due actually a little bit earlier. But very exciting. We're gonna have triplet babies, and she should do just fine raising them. Her mom has been doing just fine. This line raises triplets like it's nothing. Jane raises triplets and barely bats an eye. So I think that Miss Susan here will do great as her granddaughter and her mother's daughter, who raised 3 twice. Her quadruplets, we did lose one baby. That was not her fault. Baby just moved away from a heat lamp on a cold night and was really small. So unfortunately those things happen. But 3 I think is a good number. 2 and 3 are my favorite numbers for kids. So I'm pretty happy with what we found. So she will share Miss Josephine's due date of March 4th, possibly, but more than likely her due date is going to be February 27th. So end of February babies. And that actually concludes our Jane line ultrasounds. Next up we'll do our Betsy line. Unfortunately we did lose Betsy in September of last year. So I have her daughters and now her granddaughter are bred. Her granddaughter Bonnie is the youngest goat that I've bred to date, because she actually hit breeding size before she turned 1. So we bred her, and we are not quite far enough out yet. She'll be 3 weeks bred, I think, tomorrow. So we still have like another week to wait before we can take a blood test, and it's killing me. I hate waiting, obviously, because I'm scanning them instead of waiting for them to give birth. So next up we have Molly, who was Betsy's daughter that we moved from California a few years ago along with Arwin. So this is her third pregnancy. She had triplets the first time, twins the second, and we confirmed triplets on her last scan. So now we're just going to take a peek because it's fun. All right, Miss Molly, show us your babies. Oh, hello, baby. There's one moving over here. Oh, see, there's two moving. There's one on the left, it's a little dark. One toward the bottom there. Oh, there's the third one. Hello. There we go. There's a good one. There's a skull. See it moving its chin down toward his body. Yeah. There's the second one right there. And then the third one over here. So 3 babies. Very exciting. Susa, our Nigerian buck, actually had a very busy weekend when these ladies were bred because he bred Joe, Susan as a follow-up breeding, and Molly all on the same weekend. So Molly's due date is March 5th. She was bred the day after Josephine. So we're gonna have a very, very busy, very short window there with our kidding season. But March 5th with triplets for Molly. So next up we have Star, who was Betsy's daughter last year, and basically her last daughter. And her sire is actually Java, who we had to put down a couple years ago because he had carpal hyperextension. So we've been watching her like a hawk to see if she's developing the same issues. We haven't really seen any problems, any signs of it. So we did go ahead and breed her, and we're gonna see what we end up with. So it's really exciting that we actually get to see a Java daughter, since unfortunately he didn't get to live long enough to have a large crop of daughters. So I'm really excited to see what we get, what he brought to the line. And then we also bred her to Rocket, our rock star Nigerian, because she is a little more delicately built and he adds a lot of width and bulk to the body type of the doe. So we're really excited to see the kids out of this pairing. Okay, there's a baby. She's a little bit more of a challenge to scan, but that was definitely movement. Oh, well, see, that's definitely baby movement there. Just not sure that I can get a much clearer picture of it. It's definitely a baby, though. That's not intestinal movement. She says, I'm just going to be difficult. But she does have a baby in there, so that's good. That's one. Let's see if we can find any more movement. So Star was bred on the same day as Arwin's last breeding. So she is definitely due March 16th. She's a little harder to scan. The picture comes out fuzzier. It's just, she's a challenge to ultrasound. And so we definitely saw at least one baby, maybe 2. But more than likely she may have a singleton, which wouldn't surprise me with her frame. But it wouldn't be ideal if she had a single, so I may scan her again in another week or so and see if we can see a better image of the baby or babies. So for now I'm putting her as a 1, maybe 2 babies. So that concludes the Betsy line scanning for today. Bonnie, we are still waiting for her breeding to be basically long enough for us to even confirm with a blood test. But you can see her, she's cute. Bonnie, you gotta grow some babies for me. Bonnie is a little chunk who is still nursing off of her mom and is supposed to be pregnant. So we are working on setting things up so that we can get her separated and officially get her weaned. But we're hoping that she's got babies in there. So next up is going to be the hardest one that is in the bunch to scan, and that is Amy. She is Audrey's doe. Maggie is her mom. She had her last year, which we'll see Maggie as well. But Amy is one that is really, 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 really hard to scan. So we're going to see what we can see, but we know that she is pregnant because we did confirm that we saw at least one baby in there at her last scan. So we're going to try again and see what we see. This is Amy, the trouble goat. Alright, let's see, lady. Oh my gosh, I forgot to hit record. We had a good shot. Oh. Alright, there we go. There's the baby. So definitely one. Oh no, and she's gonna give me the black screen of death now. Don't give me the black screen of death. There we go. Trying to look and see if we got any more in there. And it's moving. She's just gonna keep giving me a black screen if I try to look anywhere other than right at that one baby. Ugh. She's so hard to scan. That is the clearest image I have ever gotten off this goat, and I have scanned her several times now trying to see, so I may not be able to see much more. So we got one definite baby right there. We're thrilled to see it. And back to the black screen of death. Come on. There's baby. It's a skull. So yes, once again, Amy tried to be very difficult. I was shocked at how clear of an image we got of the baby today. That was the clearest scan I've gotten on her, period. But trying to look around that baby, and she started going black, started going fuzzy. So I'm marking her for definitely one, but possibly two, just because I can't move around enough to see more. So it's frustrating. Patience is just going to have to be the thing that wins the day. She is going to be due March 6th, so right before my birthday. We'll see if she wants to go one day late and give me birthday babies. Right, next up is Maggie. Many of you will remember her from Roots and Refuge. She was one of our first large-sized goats to come here, and she's getting on in years. We almost retired her this year because she did struggle with raising her twins, but once we started supplementing her, she bounced right back and even got to the point where she was a little hefty when breeding season came around. So we decided, well, you know what, let's just breed her for minis and see if she can manage to raise miniatures. So we're going to see how she does with this potentially last batch of babies. If she does really well with them, then we may just continue to breed her to rocket for miniatures. But for now, we're going to see how many we got. That looks like a baby. Maggie's making it difficult because she's hunching up, which is throwing off my landmarks for her anatomy. Okay. So Maggie is being a little uncooperative today. She keeps trying to sit on me. So I just can't hold her up any longer while I keep looking. She is one of the last does that we bred, so she's a little bit early, not even early. She's about 41 days bred, but it's like right at the beginning of the window when you'd be able to count babies. And because she keeps squashing up her body and hunching up, it's throwing off some of my landmarks, trying to find where the babies are, and then her sitting on me. I can't keep looking. My arm is on fire. So I may scan her again in about a week when babies are a little bit bigger and see if maybe I can get some help out here to help hold her up so that her body stays in the proper position. Because even when I try to lift a leg, she just hunches her whole body down. So it's throwing off her anatomy. It's throwing off my angles for trying to scan her. So I thought I saw the whisper of one baby once or twice, so just gonna have to try and scan again. Next up we have Mayhem, who was also from Jess over at Roots and Refuge Farm. Her last scan was not encouraging, so I'm kind of doing follow-up scans to confirm my suspicion. So we're going to get the machine on her first, see if I'm right, and go from there. And I'll fill you guys in on what my suspicion is and see if we confirm it. Okay, so unfortunately, my camera battery died while I was scanning Miss Mayhem, and because I was covered in goo, she was covered in goo, I wasn't going to stop the scan to go replace the battery, so I did go ahead and finish the scan, and I think it did confirm my suspicion. I think that Mayhem may be reabsorbing her babies, so meaning that they have already died, and they weren't far enough along for her to actually pass them. Her body is instead reabsorbing them. So, tremendously disappointing, but we'll just have to see if we can get her through this whole process of reabsorbing and see if we can get her rebred. Her body condition's not where I want it to be for a doe that's been not in milk and not raising babies, so got to do some other troubleshooting, I think, to figure out what's going on with her. But her pamacha, her mucous membranes in her eye looks really, she still looks pink, so she looks okay in that regard. So got to just pursue the puzzle a little bit, figure out what's going on there. So that is all of our does who are currently bred enough to be scanned. We have 2 that were recently bred within the last week or so. And then we have Bonnie, who was bred 3 weeks ago. So we still have some things to do. We still have some does that are going to have some ultrasounds coming up, including Nestle, who she has had a cedar put in her, and today it was actually removed. A cedar is a hormone implant, basically, that she has worn for 2 weeks. Came out today, so she should be in heat in the next couple of days. So we'll see how many more babies we can get, but we've got quite a few that are confirmed and on their way, and most of them are Nigerians. I need some full-size babies. Despite the disappointing developments with Mayhem's pregnancy, we are pretty excited with most of our girls. They've got lots of babies on the way in the spring. The sun's going down, the temperature's dropping, and it's time for me to go milk the cows. So, as always, this is your country nerd with a goat herd saying that you can grow where you're planted.